Imagine for a second you're holding a winning lottery ticket.
Okay.
And I don't mean just like a regular jackpot. We are talking about a ticket worth over $100 billion.
Wow.
It's sitting right there on the table. But then the people who are supposed to cash it in, the heirs, they're told no.
Or at least no to about 99% of it.
Exactly. It sounds like something straight out of, I don't know, Succession.
It really does. You expect the high drama, the private jets, the champagne glasses getting thrown at the wall. But the reality here is, well, it's a lot quieter.
No.
And maybe even more complicated.
That's what we're talking about today. The Gates dynasty. Bill and Melinda. And, more specifically, their 3 children. Jennifer, Rory, and Phoebe. For years, the headline has always been the same. The Gates kids are not billionaires.
Bill Gates has been very public about that. He says they need to make their own way.
But here's the tension. This is what made me want to do this deep dive. The headline says, cut off, but their lifestyle. It says Tribeca penthouse.
And that is the contradiction we're unpacking. Is this whole middle-class values thing just the story billionaires tell themselves? Or is there a different kind of inheritance going on, something, more valuable than just cash?
Welcome to StarScope Report, where we uncover the real stories behind the fame. I've spent the last few days digging through everything from real estate records to dissertation abstracts to figure this out.
And I think we have to start with the number everyone throws around.
The 1% rule.
The 1% rule. It's the foundational myth of the family. Bill has said, many times, his kids will inherit less than 1% of his fortune.
His net worth is floating somewhere between, 107 and 115 billion.
Yeah, depending on the day. So the estimate for each kid comes out to about $10 million.
Okay, which, let's just be honest for a second, that's a fascinating place to start.
It is.
Because for you and me, $10 million is I'm retiring tomorrow money. It's I'm buying an island money.
For sure.
But in the context of 100 billion,
Yeah.
It's a rounding error. It's basically insignificant.
It's pennies on the dollar. But what's interesting is Bill's logic. He's not doing it to be cruel.
Right.
He's on the record saying that leaving them massive amounts of wealth would, and this is his word, distort their lives.
He wants them to have enough money to do anything.
But not enough to do nothing. It's a whole philosophy of enough.
And based on the sources, it really seems like they tried to enforce this, sense of normalcy at home. There are all these stories about a surprisingly strict upbringing.
Like the phone rule.
The phone rule. No cell phones until they were 14, which in a tech founder's house is pretty ironic.
I mean, that's ancient for that demographic. Most of their friends probably had phones at 10.
And mandatory chores. They weren't just, snapping their fingers and having staff do everything.
There's that great anecdote about Phoebe, the youngest.
Oh, I love this one.
She apparently made a cardboard decoy of her phone.
A decoy.
Yeah, so she could swap it out during bedtime inspections and keep scrolling at night.
Which just proves that no matter how many billions your dad has, teenage rebellion is universal.
Exactly. You're still trying to sneak text past your parents.
So, okay, you've got this normal upbringing. You have the $10 million cap. But then you have to look at the reality of their adult lives. Let's start with the eldest, Jennifer Gates Nassar.
She's 29 now.
And if you just look at her resume, she checks all the boxes. A self-made professional.
She really does. Jennifer is a legitimate doctor. This isn't some honorary degree. She graduated from Mount Sinai in May 2024.
And she's now a second-year pediatric resident.
And you have to give her credit for that. Residency is the great equalizer. It does not matter if your last name is Gates or Smith.
No. If you're on a 24-hour shift, you are doing the grunt work, you're sleep-deprived, you're stressed.
Right. She even posted on Instagram about being the exhausted post-call version of herself. You can't just buy your way out of a night shift.
You cannot buy your board certification. You have to do the work.
But, and this is the big but, we have to talk about where she goes after that shift ends.
Right, because she's not heading back to some cramped dorm room.
No.
She is going home to a $51 million penthouse in Tribeca.
Now let's just put that property in context because penthouse doesn't really do it justice.
It really doesn't.
This was Lewis Hamilton's place before, the Formula One driver. It has a plunge pool, a glass-encased terrace, a library.
And most importantly,
it was bought by her parents.
$51 million. That's more than 5 times her supposed inheritance. And that's just her apartment in the city.
Don't forget the equestrian life.
Before she was a doctor, she was a professional show jumper, a serious one. And to support that, her parents bought an $18 million horse farm in North Salem.
and property in Wellington, Florida, which is key.
Why Wellington?
Wellington is the absolute epicenter of equestrian wealth. We are talking about buying the entire infrastructure of success.
So this is what makes that whole middle-class argument so shaky.
Exactly. Yes, she works hard. But the friction of life, it's been completely removed for her.
It's the difference between walking a tightrope with a net and walking a tightrope over a canyon. If she decides medicine is too much, she lands in a plunge pool. If a normal resident burns out, they land in debt.
That's it, right there.
Yeah.
And that's a kind of wealth that doesn't show up on the $10 million inheritance sheet. It's a safety net made of solid gold.
So the eldest is a doctor with a penthouse, but the middle child, he's moved into a world of, like, shadows and spies. That story's coming up.
This is what I find so compelling about this family. They are not following the same script. Jennifer is the establishment success story. But then you look at the middle child, Rory, and the vibe is completely different.
He was the one I found most fascinating, mostly because there's just so little out there about him.
Right.
He's the only son. And usually in these big dynasties, the son is the one being groomed to take over the empire.
You expect him to be in Silicon Valley, launching a crypto fund or sitting on the Microsoft board.
And instead,
He's done the exact opposite. Rory Gates has, for all intents and purposes, gone dark.
he's 26, almost no social media, but his academic record is intense. He went to Duke for undergrad, then the University of Chicago.
And at Chicago, he didn't just get one degree. He did a double major and a master's in just 4 years.
Wow.
That's an incredible workload. It suggests someone who is just deeply driven by intellectual curiosity, not just getting a credential.
But it's what he's studying that got me.
Yeah.
He's not in computer science. He's not in business.
Nada.
He is a PhD candidate at the Institute of World Politics. And his dissertation topic, I mean, it sounds like something out of a Tom Clancy novel.
It is heavy. He's researching the psychological analysis of warfare and brainwashing.
With a specific focus on right-wing extremism in America, all the way back to the Civil War.
Think about that for a second, the pivot. You grew up in the house that built the personal computer revolution, this ultimate tool of optimism and connection.
And you decide to study how the country is tearing itself apart. It's such a profound shift from father to son.
It's a shift from technology to policy. He's looking at the raw mechanics of power and conflict. And he's not just in the library either.
No, he's actually working.
He's an analyst for the Afghanistan War Commission. And before that, he worked at the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA.
This is cleared work. This is serious national security.
And it's not exactly a safe or easy career path. He's reportedly a rich target for social climbers in D.C.
Oh, I bet.
And working in intelligence with the last name Gates has to be complicated.
But it seems like he doesn't care about being a public figure at all. Melinda described him as deep feminist, really influenced by their dinner table talks. He seems to want to understand how the world really works, the gears behind the machine.
If you love uncovering these hidden lives of the elite, by the way, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're digging into the stories the tabloids miss all the time.
So we have the doctor in the penthouse, the analyst in the shadows, and then we have the youngest, Phoebe.
And if Rory is running from the spotlight, Phoebe is setting up a ring light and hitting go live.
Phoebe Gates is 100% the Gen Z mogul of the family.
Absolutely. She's the one who looked at the Gates platform and said, okay, I can build something with this.
She's 23, just graduated from Stanford.
Yeah.
In 3 years, of course, because this family apparently doesn't believe in taking a full 4 years for anything.
Right.
And she's already co-founded a tech company. It's called Phia.
And we're not talking about a cute little side project here. Just this past January, Phia raised $35 million in Series A funding.
$35 million. That values the company at $185 million.
Okay, we have to pause on that. A $35 million Series A in this economy for a 23-year-old first-time founder.
It's a massive raise.
You have to ask, how much of that is the product
Yeah.
and how much of that is the last name?
It's the eternal question. The network she has, the access to VCs, it's undeniably linked to her parents. But, to her credit, Bill did not invest.
He didn't. She explicitly kept him off the cap table.
I read that. Bill said he would have been a tricky investor on a short leash.
Which I believe. Phoebe wanted independence. She didn't want her dad controlling board meetings. She wanted to prove the concept herself.
But she did put him to work. And this is my favorite detail of this entire deep dive.
It's so good.
She made Bill Gates the guy who invented the operating system we're probably using to record this work, a customer service shift for Phia.
It was a brilliant marketing move, but she framed it as user research. She wanted him to feel the friction points.
And Bill posted about it on LinkedIn. He said, "I've entered the startup world again. Hopefully I won't break anything."
Can you even imagine being the customer on the other end of that chat? "Hi, I'm having trouble logging in."
"Hello, this is Bill. Have you tried restarting?" It's surreal.
But it creates this very approachable, very human brand for her.
In Phia itself, it's an AI shopping agent that finds sustainable and secondhand alternatives. It's perfectly on brand for her.
Oh yeah, she's very vocal about femtech, reproductive rights, all of it. She has a podcast called The Burnouts. She is playing the modern celebrity game perfectly.
She's acknowledging the Nepo baby label, but trying to outwork it.
And that really brings us all the way back to the main question here.
Right.
If Phoebe is building a company worth hundreds of millions and Jennifer is sitting on $50 million in real estate, does the fact they only inherit $10 million in cash even matter?
It feels like a technicality, doesn't it? Like, oh, you only get $10 million in cash, but here's an entire ecosystem of wealth to support you forever.
Exactly. And we have to look at the bigger picture of the fortune itself, too, because the Not Billionaires headline isn't just about the kids. It's about the money disappearing.
The sunset clause.
The sunset clause.
Yeah.
The Gates Foundation is designed to sunset or water down 50 years after Bill and Melinda's deaths. The goal is to spend the money, not hoard it.
So unlike, say, the Rockefellers, where the foundation becomes this perpetual job machine for the great-grandkids.
Right. The Gates Foundation is basically designed to close up shop. They're burning the ships.
And the empire is already sort of fracturing. After the divorce in 2021, Melinda took $12.5 billion to run her own philanthropy.
Yep. Focusing on women and families, so there's no single-family crown for Rory or Phoebe to inherit control of. It's already decentralizing.
And Bill's moved on, personally. He's dating Paula Hurd, the widow of the Oracle CEO, the nuclear family that made these rules. It doesn't really exist in the same way anymore.
Which brings us to the verdict. When you look at all of this, are the Gates kids not billionaires?
Technically, on paper, sure. If you just look at a direct bank transfer from the estate, they won't be billionaires.
But if you look at their lives,
they are living in a stratosphere that 99.9% of the world cannot even comprehend. When your parents can buy you an $18 million farm for your hobby, the inheritance cap is irrelevant.
They haven't inherited a giant pile of cash. They've inherited access. And that's the real currency.
It's the ultimate safety net.
It's intellectual capital, it's social capital, and it's the freedom to fail. Think about it. Rory can spend a decade researching psychological warfare and not worry about a single student loan payment.
Phoebe can launch a startup, and if it fails, she doesn't starve, she just pivots.
Jennifer can be a pediatrician, a field that does not normally pay enough to live in Tribeca, but she lives in a penthouse.
That's the real distinction. They have the freedom to choose careers based on interest and impact, not survival.
And that freedom is worth more than $1 billion in a bank account. It lets them shape the world on their own terms.
So Bill says leaving them billions would distort their lives. But you could argue the distortion already happened.
That's the thought I want to leave everyone with. Is it even possible to be middle class when you're taking a private jet to visit your parents? Can you really simulate struggle when the safety net is made of solid gold?
It's a question of whether character is built by the struggle to survive or the struggle to achieve. They definitely have the drive to achieve.
But the survival part, that was solved for them at birth.
So what do you think? Is this no inheritance, rule, genius parenting that kept them grounded? Or is it just really, really good PR for a family that lives like royalty?
It's a fascinating look at modern wealth. And if you enjoy this deep dive into the dynamics of the elite, make sure you're subscribed.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.